In the framework of the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals, the European Union is pushing a lot of efforts to stop climate change. With such compromise, initiatives as the European Clean Energy Package aims to create a stronger, resilient, and sustainable grid. To do so, different approaches have been defined, like an increase of flexibility coming up from end users of electricity, from individuals or buildings, with an optimized energy management system, as key pillars to achieve the decarbonization goals in 2050.
EMAX is born as a solution to ease grid congestion, make resilient grids, and manage efficiently the energy consumed by each building. Our business model provides energy management services that can optimize energy consumption and participate in ancillary energy markets.
So, why flexibility? During heavy winter, when the temperature drops, the demand for heating power skyrockets, causing grid congestion, threatening the grid stability, especially in zones as the Nordic region. To avoid large expenses in infrastructure, governments started the creation of a new service, the flexibility markets. Companies offer their flexibility and get revenue from the service.
Flexibility is an ancillary service that reduces the energy consumption to shape the on-peak electricity demand and get money from the megawatts reduced. EMAX's business model is highly profitable due to the following reasons. First, we participate in the mFRR or Stockholm Flex market to generate a direct and safe revenue stream. Our choice of the market relies on which one is more profitable. Second, we provide the service with almost zero cost. Furthermore, we generate additional revenue when reducing the electricity consumption, so the utility bills are lower. And finally, we decrease the CO2 emissions generated by the building, offering our clients an improved, socially responsible image.
Why EMAX? Technical, economical, and legal requirements must be reached, as a minimum bid size, offer price and asset management. These barriers represent a challenge for medium to small buildings, companies and users who want to join the market.
EMAX's competitive advantage relies on developing software to facilitate the aggregation of different asset owners to join the flexibility and mFRR market. Our software is a platform that allows the aggregated companies to control their assets, adjust their flexibility bids weekly, and automatically enter the market.
With our AI price forecast software, EMAX ensures the best price possible in the market and bids smart and safe with the flexibility provided by the users. Finally, the incomes are equally distributed among our users and a commission is taken for EMAX to keep running our services.
It also allows them to obtain an optimized new revenue stream for their business, improve their flexibility potential, and receive a forecast for the best flexibility prices. Finally, it also lets them to automate their flexibility provision. Furthermore, with EMAX they will forget about the legal and technical burdens and incorporate an energy efficiency techniques and good practices from our experts.
For our business model, a really important step has been the validation process. This process is divided in two parts.
The initial concept for EMAX was to be an aggregator to introduce real estate companies to the flexibility market. We decided to participate in the ancillary market because the flexibility provision is becoming a reality as days pass. An important step to validate our model has been doing interviews. The flexibility market responsibly, Sweco, raised the interest of different parties. The problems they found were the lack of information, the high entry limit of 0.5 megawatt, and additional technical issues. The result from the interviews pointed that the key element needed for flexibility provision is the software. This software will provide information about the bidding process. It will also be flexible to configure itself into introductory markets with minor changes thanks to our expert engineers. EMAX will have the required personnel to assist its clients in incorporating into flexibility markets. The software will handle the main technical issues, letting the final user make easy decisions based on the information provided. EMAX software will bridge a gap between the nodes platform and the clients. This software will be installed into the main SCADA controllers of our clients to provide flexibility.
In the second step of our validation, a fundamental concept is the minimum valuable product, that is an operative script that focuses on the customer experience. Our MVP assumes that this is already in place and allows our potential clients to feel how simple providing flexibility with EMAX could be. The software simulates the whole experience of flexibility with EMAX. To validate our process, the experiment was based on sharing the software with the people interviewed, and asked them to use it like they were managing a building.
Analyzing the results from their feedback, people agreed that the procedure is simple, and more than revenues, they want to participate for social responsibility, reason why we should take this aspect into consideration when making the report provided by the software.
As a preliminary study, a pilot project for flexibility was run in the Stockholm area during 2020 winter period, where the result from the market shows a total 340 hours of activation accounting for 2,250 megawatts. Despite the high variability, the average price was 48 euros per megawatt, showing a great potential for this market. In addition, the flexibility can be used to participate in the mFRR market. This has an average lower price, but is available during the whole year.
In 2019, around 405,000 megawatts were traded in the Stockholm area. Therefore, a 1 megawatt offered during the whole year will represent 1.6% of the market share, and a total income up to 300,000 euros. To make this model profitable, EMAX has to work as an aggregator so the participation in the mFRR market is possible during the whole year.
To clearly present the roadmap of EMAX development, we divided the future projections into two intertwined paths. First is related to the product development, and the second is focused on financial development. On top of that, we defined 5 milestones that would help us stay on track throughout the whole process of this new venture creation project. Backed by our own cash or using the monetary support from the representatives of our friends, families, or people deeply believing in our project, first 6 months we will devote solemnly to creating the software. For that task, it is planned to hire an external software house company that will speed up the process and help us on the way. It is important to have one or more members of the funding team to be involved only in the software development, so that we can have full understanding and control over it. The completion of building the first version of our software is the first milestone on the road to the EMAX success. Next 3 to 6 months will be devoted to testing the software by means of various pilot programs and beta testing.
During this period, which is the second half of the first year, EMAX will debug the system, make necessary improvements to the software, so when launched, it will not experience any obstacles in operation. In parallel to this beta testing, part of the team will be engaged in sales, contacting dozens of prospective customers and achieving the second milestone, contracting our first client.
After 12 months of software development and fine-tuning it during the series of extensive tests, comes the time to reach the third and the most important milestone on our way. Having contracted the first clients, we will launch the official release of the EMAX software on the Swedish market. It is important for the new venture that the product launch would take place no later than September. When EMAX present the proof of concept, thanks to the successful pilot programs and the official release, the team want to perform the Series A financing round in order to accumulate a suitable amount of capital for scaling the product in Sweden, and at the end of the second year from the new venture launch to expand to other countries.
Knowing that organizing a financial round is a demanding task, the team will begin the process 6 months in advance. Soon after official release and successful conclusion of the financing round, EMAX is believed to reach the break-even point. That would mark the 4th milestone.
Toward the end of the second year of operation of the company, would like to reach the contract agreements with the companies outside Sweden, so that at the beginning of the 3rd year of operation the company can successfully enter the UK energy market, with this event achieving the 5th and final of the new venture development plan.
In order to kick off the venture and make reality the concept of easy access to flexibility markets for small consumers and end users, EMAX will need funding in order to develop the project, start operations and sustain a growth strategy, until starting to make profit.
For the initial 6 months, period to develop EMAX solution, the company will rely on personal savings and love money. After this, and with a prototype solution ready, the objective is to change the financial sources towards sources that can add expertise and value to the company. For this reason, EMAX will be focused on, first of all, public and private projects. From EMAX, we see them as the best way to test and optimize our solution, and also to start getting in touch with potential clients. And secondly, business incubators. This kind of financing would be perfect for EMAX at this point of the venture development, because it should start focusing on business strategy and to gain as much knowledge as possible of the business world. Finally, from the year 1 onwards, and with the first version of the product already in the market, EMAX will try to diversify revenue streams, adding more commercial alternatives such as venture capital and bank loans. When it comes to venture capital, Series A, the internationalization strategy needs significant amount of funding and some expertise from the financial point of view.
Once the company will have started to commercialize the product, and therefore will be more established, then the finance streams will be also expanded towards venture capital and more traditional options such as loans. But how exactly will be EMAX financed?
As my colleagues have already mentioned, EMAX has an uphill battle at its beginning, like any startup. As I will show you, we believe it is worthy of working on it and, almost importantly, to invest in it. Our revenues in the first year only come from the beta test from EMAX in the Stockholm market. We estimate to participate with 340 MWh to validate and approve our software. By the second year, as our customer base increases, EMAX will achieve a revenue of 120,000 euros. The third year, EMAX will achieve its break-even point with a total sales of roughly 300,000 euros. As we reach additional markets, we earn our first €1,000,000 in a revenue by the fifth year. We are able to maintain a low cost of operation by keeping our fixed cost and payroll of 20% of EMAX income. With little, we are achieving way more. The most intensive activity is customer attraction, represented in our sales force. Once they are with EMAX, we'll sign a 5-year contract to account for the integration cost to flexibility. Our growth is represented in the megawatts EMAX is able to handle. And during the first year, we'll have 1 megawatt, the second year 2 megawatt, and finally, in the fifth year, we'll achieve 15 megawatts. The installed capacity at the end gives us the following cash flow for the next 10 years. We require an investment of 500,000 euros at different stages and through various milestones, such as EMAX beta release and validation, and to maintain its customer growth. We offer a net present value of 1.1 million euros with 30% discount rate and an internal rate of return of 90%. We are eager to meet you and welcome you on board with our dream.